Salam alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Peace be upon you. Do you know where you're going to? Do you know what life is showing you? In high school, I used to ask people, who are you and where are you going? Today, it's more like, do you know where you're going and what life is doing? I want to share a story with you about a young priest that graduated seminary school and was given his first assignment in the boondocks of Nebraska. And he stayed up nights for weeks working on his first sermon. And when he got to the church, he got up on that pulpit and he looked out, and there was only one person in the audience. So he came down and he went to this gentleman in the audience and he said, "Sir," he says, "I'm new. This is my first sermon and I have a real nice sermon prepared, but you're the only one here. What should I do, sir?" He said, "Well, son, I'm just an old farmer and I don't know much, but I do know when I go out to feed the cows and only one cow shows up, I feed it anyway." He said, "Oh, thank you, sir, thank you." So he jumped back up on that pulpit and he preached and he sermoned and sweat down his brow. An hour later, he came down. He said, "Well, sir, how'd I do?" He said, "Well, son, I'm just an old farmer and I don't know much, but I do know when I go out and feed the cows and only one cow shows up, I feed it anyway, but I don't give it the whole dang bale." So I've got a dang bale to feed you folks. I hope you're up to it. What I want to do this evening is challenge your mind, give you mental gymnastics, help you think outside of your comfort zone. I want you to question what you believe. I want you to visualize a new way of thinking. When I was in private practice, just down the road, just the other side of 11 Mile Road, in an office building there, my clients would say, "Well, how does psychotherapy work?" I say, "Well, I have this invisible screwdriver, and I stick it in your ear, and I make some adjustments." So the invisible screwdriver is my words. So I hope to give you pause to think about what is being said. You can't solve a problem you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. Who said that besides me? Einstein. Excellent. So you understand, we need to go beyond what we traditionally know and think in order to solve problems, because you can't solve them in the same old way. We are in sacred space here. We are on the grounds of the land that we're sitting on was stolen from indigenous people, the First Nation people. I relate to that because the land I lived on and was born on was stolen, and indigenous people such as myself were thrown out of their homes. So I was displaced when I was 12 years old. I landed at Ellis Island on my 12th birthday, and I couldn't speak English, and I could barely see over the railing of the ship, and there was the Statue of Liberty, the New York skyline. For a 12-year-old shepherd boy, I think that was the beginning of PTSD. Something happened to me at that moment that I feel like I'm going to grow up to help change the suffering that people experience in wars and in violence. So I'm here as a refugee from Palestine. In honor of the native people, my brothers and sisters who have been displaced from their land that we are sitting on, I want you to experience a ritual calling in the 6 directions. What we're going to do with that is when I say, if any of you have cell phones, please turn them off because it is disruptive. So what we do is we face the north, and I say some words. And pay attention to the words, even if you close your eyes, so that you're focused completely on what you're hearing. So I'll say some words, and then I'll at the end, I'll say aho, then you say aho. And then we face the east, the same way, the south, the west, and on the 5th, we face the front again. So let me ask you to stand now and face the north, which is this way. Put down. Great Spirit of love, come to me with the power of the north. Make me courageous when the cold winds of life fall upon me. Give me strength and endurance for everything that is harsh, everything that hurts, everything that makes me squint. Help me to walk through life ready to take what comes from the north. Aho. Aho. Great Spirit of the East, light of the rising sun, let there be light on the path I walk. Let me remember every day that you give the gift of a new day, and never let me be burdened with sorrow by not starting over. Aho. Great Spirit of creation, send me warm and soothing winds from the south to comfort and caress me when I'm tired and cold. Unfold me as your gentle breezes unfold the leaves on the trees, and as you give to all the earth your warm moving winds, give to me warmth so that I may grow close to you. Aho. Great Spirit of life, I face the west, the direction of sundown. Let me remember every day that the moment will come when my sun will go down. Never let me forget that I must fade into you. Give me great sky, give me beautiful color for setting. So when it is time to meet you, I come with glory. Aho. Face forward. And we bow in homage to Mother Earth. Giver of all life, I pray to you from the earth. Help me to remember as I touch the earth that I'm little and need your pity. Help me to be thankful for the gifts of the earth and never to walk hurtfully upon the world. Bless me with eyes to love what comes from Mother Earth and teach me how well to use your gifts. Aho. Great Spirit of the heavens, lift me up to you so that my heart may worship you and come to you in glory. Hold in my memory that you are my creator, greater than I, eager for my good life. Let everything that is in the world lift my mind and my heart to you, so that I may come to you always in truth and in heart. Aho. We will do a 7th direction at the end. We'll do a closing circle, and the 7th direction is going within. For now, be seated. Thank you. We're all second-hand people. Everything we know came to us from someone else. And we believe it so much that we're willing to kill and die for it. Witness how people rush and volunteer for wars. Why? Because in the culture that we grow in, we're told that this is important. Here's a rifle, go kill that person you don't know. And you never think in any other way. So I want to give you one of those screwdriver mental gymnastics right now. I want you to imagine that you were born an identical twin. And at the time of your birth, your twin was wrapped up and taken to China. And you grew up until today. You came together here now, at this age and time, with your twin, your Chinese twin, and your American self. What do you see? What's different? What's the same?
Maybe language.
Grew up in a whole different culture. Language. The food.
Food.
We still need food, shelter, and we also have to take a deposit to Mother Earth.
That's the same. We're all the same in that respect. So what I want you to do now is think about, what if you were the one wrapped up and taken to China, and your twin stayed here? Now come face to face. Would you still be talking about democracy, capitalism, Jesus? What's different? And, huh? Buddha, yes. The point is, imagine that this is where you grew up, where your twin grew up, and this is what you know. But it's not necessarily is the truth or is the only way, and on and on. So that's why I want to implant in you the fact that don't be so sure about what you know. Don't be so adamant about believing, because if you grew up somewhere else, those things would not be in your head. They'd be somewhere else. There'd be other things in your head. My topic today is sanctity of life, decadence, and the new think. So who can tell me what is sanctity of life?
Freedom. Peace.
Cherish someone in love and try to hold that.
It's the sanctity of all living beings.
Being content.
Isn't life itself sacred?
All of life is sacred. The animals and the trees. All of life is sacred. The mountains and the seas. Sanctity of life means we need to stop killing. We did not create life. We should not be taking life. We need to hold on to the old adage that is sacred. We don't create life. We should not destroy it. Decadence. How many here believe that we are in a state of decay? What are the signs of decay?
Anger. Hatred. Abuse.
In the Bible, bickering between the families has become greater, and I really don't care for that. I see that becoming one of the signs it said in Revelation. But that occurs, that's not a good sign.
Not being able to collectively unite with other people.
Disrespect.
Hmm?
Disrespect.
Yes?
Chaos.
Chaos?
Isolation.
In all of history, every empire eventually sinks upon itself. It implodes. It decays from the inside out because of the decadence. And it all collapses, not from outside forces. Oh, Rome was the mightiest country in the world, but it decayed from the inside because of the kind of things we're talking about. So the most important sign of decay is that profits are more important than people. Think about that. What are you worth? Well, put a dollar sign on it. Go ahead.
One life is worth the entire world to me, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
When celebrities and athletes are worth so much more than everybody else, this is not, I believe, how God sees us.
You see a sign that says a fine or $15,000 if you hit a worker on the road. So is that worker really worth
You
$15,000?
got it. You got it.
Yeah.
See? That's the whole thing. How do you put money on life? So, the other important thing about knowing that we are in the decay is that we live in a war culture. We glorify wars. We have parades for wars. We spend 50%, maybe even 60% of our culture, of our American budget on wars. If we eliminate wars, we would have free education all the way through PhDs. We would have health care for free. There's no end to what we can have because that military budget is so huge, but it's so hidden, nobody thinks about it. Right away, oh, we don't have enough money to feed children for lunch at school. But when it comes to another 80 million, 80 billion, 80 whatever in the military budget, nobody says where is it going to come from. They just say, sure, automatic, throw it in. So, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything can be counted counts. Who said that? Einstein. I'm really rooting for Einstein, you notice. Well, what is it that we count that doesn't count? Think of how many billions of dollars are kept in statistics, in TV sets, in computers, of how many times a pitcher touched his crotch when he pitched. How many slid in backwards instead of forwards. Think of the number of things that we count as important. And we have wages and bets on these things. But the things that are important, children's lunch money, our education. So we mostly count money. Money is an absurd and obsolete measure of worth. Money is paper. It's not even paper anymore. It's digits in a computer. If somebody just knew how and pushed a button and shoved 1 million digits into your computer, you'd be rich. And nothing happened. Just
Absolutely poor to go the other way.
just a digit. Yeah, and they could take it away from you and you would be poor. We mostly count money. Other things of decay is that we count many things that don't count, and we don't count what really counts, such as love. How do you count love? Truth. Is there a value to truth? I won't go to the Washington scene. I'll leave that alone. Truth, people. How can you deal with anything if it's not truth? Caring. Peace. How do you count peace? But it counts.
Depends on the pie and the family, how many you're giving to each. I'm sorry.
So, we should count love, truth, caring, peace, and compassion. We allow deception in advertising. Come on, people. You're all sitting here. How many of you ever stood up and said, let's stop deception in advertising? We watch it. We swallow it. We even go out and do it. We advertise and promote alcohol, drugs, gambling. We advertise in the state. The government of the state advertises, promotes you to gamble. And they show you the winner. But they don't show you the 99 million others that are succumbed. So think about that. I want to challenge your mind. The stock market is a global gambling house. And how many billions and billions, even trillions of dollars circulate through that whole mechanism? And people get rich and people get poor through the gambling of nothing. Stocks, bonds, paper. Imagine Uber is worth $600 billion. Imagine Amazon is worth $1 trillion. How do you wrap your head around that? We promote violence as entertainment. I wrote here, I know you can't hardly see it. The greatest threat to humanity is the war mentality. The U.S. has more guns than people. We wage war more than any other country. We established the Peace Corps, and we're the warmongers. The Peace Corps you don't hear of anymore, but the wars are still going. The U.S. has more military and nuclear weapons than all countries combined. The U.S. has hundreds of bases around the world. Can you imagine how much it costs to maintain a military air base? Can you imagine how much fuel is used every day by all the equipment of military machinery? And we have to lower our thermostat to save oil, to save heat, and so on. And yet, when I was in high school, I ended up in the Air Force. 4 years. And I remember this guy says to me, we're sitting there just talking or something. He said, oh, I got to go. I said, where are you going? He says, I'm going to Alaska for lunch. Yeah, what? He says, yeah. He says, I got to do my training hours. So I get in my jet and I fly to Alaska. I have lunch and I'll come back here for dinner. Laugh. Laugh more. Laugh at the idiocy of that. And that was back in the 50s. Imagine what we spend now on military hardware. And if other countries like Russia or China had bases all over, we'd be up in arms. But we do, hundreds of them. And we don't know about the ones that they don't tell us about. For example, all weapons should have WIN numbers, W-I-N. And I don't mean like winning money. WIN is weapon identify number. We do that with cars, the VIN number. Why not? Why not every tank should have a WIN number, and it should be published exactly where that tank goes, to who it's being sold to or given to. We need to know who is buying our military weapons. Whoever buys a weapon needs to register it. We sell military equipment to both sides of a conflict. It makes money for us, yay! Not us, you and me, but us, those rich dudes that have stock in the military weapon industry. They fuel a conflict, they sell weapons to both sides, and they make the money. In the meantime, we are the losers. There should be no secrets in government. These secret deals, what are they? Why don't you think about that? And now that I'm telling you, you should start thinking about that. There should be no secrets. Everything should be in the open. Because secrets are like lies. You can't deal with a secret. You can't deal with a lie. We don't practice prevention for health care. Only cure. And only for those who can afford it. Is health care a right or a privilege? I think when I was introduced, you were told that I was elected county commissioner here in Oakland County. And in December, they asked me, Oakland County was celebrating the 50 years of the Oakland County Commission. And they asked me as a former commissioner to give a speech. And I told them, I said, when I was county commissioner in 1970 and 68 and 70, I submitted a resolution to add one word to the preamble of the Constitution. Now, how many know what the preamble of the Constitution is? Anybody here knows the words?
Well, I don't know all the words, but I know what it is.
Okay. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. My resolution was to add just one word. Life, health, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So when I was standing before the county commission back in December, I told them this story, and I said, it's strange. Here it is 50 years later, and we still can't decide whether health is a privilege or a right. Think about that. Think about being poor and not affording health care, and your child is sick with a toothache, with a bellyache. You let the child suffer? How? Health is not a privilege. The new thing. We humans have two natures, believe it or not. We have the animal nature and we have the divine nature. In the animal nature, we misunderstand and distort our most primary function. What do you think our primary function is? Survival. What? Procreate. Procreate. Without which, life wouldn't exist. At least the human life wouldn't. So, in the animal function, our sexuality, we misunderstand our sexuality. We made it sinful. We made it inappropriate, all kinds of things. So the main thing is that our sexuality explains our frustration, our sexual frustration explains why we kill one another. Now, this is not about you individually. I'm talking about in terms of the human race. So, we in the animal nature, we misunderstand and distort our most primary function, our sexuality, which partly explains our willingness to kill one another. We do not know how to deal with the primal scream, the very function of humanity and procreation. The other nature is the divine. In the divine, our spiritual nature, we have externalized the divine and replaced it with the mythology of religions. If I say, where is the divine? Where is God? What would you say? If I said, tell me where is God? What would you do? Yeah, that's because you're theosophists. But the reality is, most people would say, up there. The divine is not a being. The divine is internal and exists in the recess of our human consciousness. It's personal, it's within, and it's not anything you can explain or share. The divine is within, is personal, and like infinity, is unknown and unknowable. Tell me infinity. Do you know infinity? No matter how hard you study, no matter where you go to read books or whatever, how do you come up with an answer of infinity? It's not knowable. So it's important that we recognize certain things that we don't know, and we should be okay not knowing. The divine used to be the goddess. There was a time when the goddess prevailed. Now, it's not about whether a woman gets elected president. That's not the issue. On a more universal consciousness, the goddess is the birther, the giver of life, the compassionate. Think of how mothers protect their infants in all species, not only in humans. So this is the goddess consciousness. So it's not about whether a woman gets strong enough and fights like hell like men do and gets to be president. I would like to see that, that's fine. The goddess is the real essence of our beingness.
You're not limiting goddess to a female. Is it more encompassing than...
Goddess is the feminine. The feminine.
Right.
Yes. So I personally claim to have 40% feminine energy and 60% masculine energy. That doesn't make me the goddess. The goddess is the one that gives birth. So men never give birth, that's a known, and therefore the goddess has the compassion that men don't. And let's leave it at that because we can go into hours with that. Religions preach the hereafter. I just told you, unknown and unknowable. How do we know what the hereafter is? No matter how many books you read or how many religions advocate one way or the other, it's hereafter. When you die, you'll find out. So it's not about the hereafter, it's about the here and now. Now is where compassion needs to be. Now is where the goddess needs to be compassionate and temper down the violence and the wars. So where do we go from here? What hope do we have for the future? When the power of love overcomes the love of power, there will be peace. And I didn't invent that, that's a song. But that's the truth. What change do we need to make? I want to tell you a story. This Zen master walks up to the hot dog vendor in New York, on the streets of New York. And he says, "Make me one with everything." You get it? The Zen master said, "Make me one with everything." So the hot dog vendor makes him a one with everything, and hands it to him. The Zen master hands him a $20 bill and stands there. And the vendor puts the money in his pocket and goes and waits on other people. And the guy waited and he waited and he said, "Where's my change?" The vendor said, "Change is within." What it boils down to is personal responsibility. We can't wait to elect a person who's going to do it. We can't wait to read another book and figure it out. We have to take personal responsibility. So that means you have to speak up, one-on-one. I have the FBI come investigate me several times because where I play racquetball, after I play racquetball, I sit in the hot tub. And then the conversation goes on. And then I start talking like I'm talking now. Do I sound dangerous in any way? But that's how I speak. So they call up and say, "There's a terrorist here." So the card I gave you, I have a website on the bottom, yusuf.org. And when you tune into that, there's a 15-minute video of me doing storytelling of when the FBI came to investigate me for being a terrorist. You'll love it. I really did a masterful job telling them where to go, but being very, very loving about it. So tune into it sometime. So we have been dehumanized. Anybody here disagrees? We have been dehumanized. We create separation. Division, which creates mean spirit. We need to say thank you for your service, not to military people, but to first responders, to farmers who feed us, to teachers who teach us. I know this is a very touchy thing, and somebody's going to go out and say he dishonored our military people. And I told you I spent 4 years in the military, and I don't take any pride in that. I was just a kid, a foreign kid that hardly can speak English. I ended up serving 4 years. It's fine. I learned a lot from it. But I can tell you that that's not where honor should be. It should be with people that help people, not kill people. And again, don't walk out of here feeling miffed about my saying about the military. I think we need to abolish militarism altogether. And if we just took 5% a year and not laid people off, but transformed them from doing this, killing, to doing that, plowing the field, it can be done. There are many places where you can see that world peace is possible, but we have to start thinking differently than we have been. Think of the mothers. I see women all the time with children in the buggy, one on this hip, one on that hip, trying to navigate stairs. And I say, that's the person we want to say thank you for your service. That's the people, the mothers, the women that just continue to devote their life and all the hardships to raise the children. When I was in private practice, I had a sign that said, "It is better to build children than repair adults." And I also had a sign. I had a chair, a rocking chair that swivels like this, and another one the same kind over here, and this little table, and my patient would sit there and I would sit here. I had a sign that said, "My business is talking myself out of business." So there's another way of thinking about things. Think of it. We indiscriminately bomb cultures that are thousands of years old. We're barely 400 years old in our culture, and it's not even a cohesive culture. We're a culture of many, many individual cultures. But there are cultures that are thousands of years old. We bomb them, we obliterate them. Just because they still use the oxen and the horse and carriage doesn't mean that they're ignorant. It just means that's their culture. What right do we have to blanket bomb them? Okay, so having told you all that, I still have hope for the future. I'm not hopeless, because as a Palestinian, it's easy to become helpless and hopeless, because I'm helpless to do anything about what's going on, and I feel hopeless, like I don't know if it'll ever work. But I believe that we can awaken to our higher consciousness where the divine lives. And that means that you all have to join me in coming to your higher consciousness. And the more of us that grow into that consciousness, the sooner we can make the change. Because we are creators. We create the environment that creates the war. Believe it or not. You might not individually, personally, but our society creates the culture that creates the wars. So we have to be able to change that. We can bring the power of love to diminish the love of power. We're able to split the atom. We're able to walk on the moon and sniff the soil on Mars. We as humans have a tremendous capacity. And we put it all towards war machines. If we make our intention to put it towards peace, it would be a lot different. We can reap the benefit of peace. It's called the peace dividend. Really, there'll be more money in everybody's pocket if we can stop wars and create peace. We as a society need a national referendum. This is where I'm going to slowly give you some ideas how, when you leave here, you can take a new consciousness and begin to think, who are we as Americans? Now remember, we call ourselves Americans, but really, North, Central, and South America are all Americans. But we excerpt that, we take it to ourselves and create that we Americans. No, we are United States of Americans. And we need to take that full responsibility for that. So we need a referendum. I hope that in voting, in your voting power, you'll be able to start a movement towards getting a referendum to define our goals, our values, and our priorities. Corporations do that all the time. They establish what is our mission statement and so on. What is our statement as United States Americans? As a humanity, what is our mission? What is our national priority? We need to establish values such as do no harm, be of service, cooperate, not compete. On the back of the card you saw that if you looked at it. This is the motto I live by. Other things that you have to know about rehumanizing is equal does not mean same. Might does not make right. Restorative justice, not punitive justice. The end does not justify the means. It's wrong to say we have to burn the city to save it. But that's the truth. We burned all of Iraq and Syria, and it's just insane. But we think we're building good things. We in the U.S. are no more exceptional or superior to anyone else. I get in real trouble talking to people and say, we're Americans, we're exceptional. I say, no, we're not. There are just as many smart people in Germany and Russia and Yugostan and wherever. Equal human rights are the birthright of all humans, not all Americans. This concept message needs to be global. So you need to start promoting that consciousness with other people and elevate the consciousness. We need a mission statement to create a world without war. War is obsolete, expensive, and self-defeating. You can go online and look up the Venus Project, and it will describe to you certain aspects of how we can have life without wars, what the cities would look like if they were clustered, and all kinds of stuff like that. There's also another group called World Beyond War. So start doing some looking into these things. We need a mission statement. I said that. I believe in our animal nature, which lets us experience emotions, feelings, and enjoy the physical and the sensual. So we are animals. We do have form. We do have bodies. Make use of that with love, with caring, so that when we do leave the body, then that's a whole different ballgame, and I can't tell you anything about that. And I don't think anybody else can. Not the Pope, not anybody. They can give you assumptions. But for now, we have the body, so we need to enjoy our animal nature. We have an obligation as stewards to care for the earth and humanity, and to shepherd nature and the animals. It costs less to care for a sentient being than to kill them. Think about that. I believe in our divine spiritual nature, where we connect to a higher power that gives us the strength to rehumanize by promoting truth, peace, love, and compassion. So you can start by rehumanizing yourself, even though we've been dehumanized. You don't even know where it came from. It came from advertising and TV and all this other places. But take charge. You can begin to rehumanize. I believe in the mystery of life. We come from the earth, and we go back to the earth. Hello. That's it. Now, what happens after that is fine. But make what is now worthwhile and compassionate and caring towards others and the earth. Going back to the earth ultimately frees us from our bounds of form and flesh, and possibly to explore unknown and unknowable areas. That's fine. I don't think anybody's in a hurry to do that, but sooner or later you're going to be doing that. So just wait till then and let it show itself. We do not inherit the earth to our children, we borrow it from them. Shame on you, the way we're leaving the earth to our children. In conclusion, we need a paradigm shift from the paradigm of having to the paradigm of being. It's not about being right, it's about what is right. That's where the male ego is. Got to be right. Women, the feminine, the goddess consciousness doesn't really have that. Not to say that there aren't women who compete and are just as um, uh, frightful. uh, we have to go beyond what we know to change the war culture to a culture of peace and nonviolence. I'm a trainer for the Michigan Peace Team. I've been doing that for 20 years. And I've trained thousands of people in nonviolence. And that's a whole different story. I hope I empowered you to a new way of thinking. Stopping wars and violence is the only way that will save us from destruction as a human civilization. I encourage all people globally to take personal responsibility to resist supporting war and promoting a culture of nonviolence. It has to go beyond words, to walk lightly upon the earth and to promote the sanctity of life. It becomes a spiritual practice between you and your divine. So I'm not telling you to leave your religion or anything like that. I'm just saying connect with your personal divine and work from there to rehumanize. So it becomes a spiritual practice between you and your divine to practice and promote peace, love, and compassion. In closing, I want to tell you about a story of an Indian chief. He had his grandson come and sit by him. And he said, "Grandson, there are two wolves that live inside each of us. And they're each vying for our attention." The grandson said, "Which one wins, grandfather?" So think about it. If I asked you, does the bad wolf win or the good wolf win? Does the bad wolf lose or the good wolf lose? The answer is the one you feed. It's that consciousness that you feed all the things that you've learned that are not that healthy. So take that with you and go home and live life. So I just want to remind you, Sunday is International Women's Day. So I love women. My mother was a woman.
Should I wear my red dress or my purple dress?
And Monday is a very special full moon day. So keep that in mind. So,
What's the full moon?
full moon on Monday.
It's the biggest moon of the whole year.
Some friends told me about it, but I forgot what they said. But I love all full moons. And I say a prayer to the full moon in Arabic. يهلك ويستهلك ويجعلك علينا هلال مبارك. It says, bless you and maybe you be blessed upon us for this month. So it's that kind of thing. So, repeat it in Arabic. يهلك ويستهلك ويجعلك علينا هلال مبارك. Hilal is moon. Hilal. In the Muslim tradition, you see the new moon with the star or something. It's called Hilal. So you know a little bit Arabic? You were thinking about that? Oh, nice. Huh? You what? Oh, okay. So I told you we're going to do a closing circle to the seventh direction, and then we'll sit back down and have questions if you have any questions of me or any comments you each would like to make. So for this circle, I call it a circle. I really would rather it be a circle, but it's too disruptive now to get to a circle. I want to thank you profusely for coming in this weather to share this night with me. I'm grateful immensely. And again, for those who weren't here, make sure when you take this on and off, be light about it because that plastic thing eventually wears off. But I'm so happy to share this with you. And you can buy these, 50 of them for $10. And they come postage paid. Imagine that. So this might be something you would want to do. I think it's Oriental shipping or something. And I don't know how to do online stuff, but somehow I just tripped into it, and there it was, because I've been wearing this, as I told you, for 6 months or more. So this might be something you want to start promoting by promoting peace. It's nothing better. They call me the world's oldest hippie. So, so for this direction, it's the going within, and for that, I want you to stand up. Put your arms out. Plant your feet below your shoulders. Bend your feet, your knees slightly, so it's not uncomfortable, and close your eyes in total silence for 1 minute. You can see a minute is a long time when you're centered. You have all the time in the world. Now put your arms out, hug yourself, and hold hands. Yeah, move together. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. You got it? Okay. All right, we're still in sacred space. Now, the first position was the me, the alone, the separate, the individual. This position is the we, the together, the connected, the belonging. And you can see the switch from me to we and we to me takes some doing, because I can see how you had to shuffle around to become we, and then how you are in me. So me and we, like men and women, are two sides of the same coin. One does not exist without the other. Teach your children that the earth is our mother. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. This we know, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know, that all things are connected, like the lifeblood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. O birther, lift your arms. O birther, Father, Mother of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. Focus your light within me and within us, and make it peaceful and useful. Amen. Be peace, go in peace, and spread peace. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.